Emma, a young interior designer, always considered herself rational and independent. Her days were filled with work, and her evenings with a cup of tea and a book to unwind after a long day. One evening, sitting on the sofa with her phone in hand, she received a strange message from an unknown number. "Hi, we agreed to meet today." Emma frowned. She did not recognize the number, and the message looked like a common mistake. She politely replied, "Sorry, you must have the wrong number." A few minutes later, a reply came. "Are you sure?" Emma felt a slight worry but quickly brushed it off. Probably someone decided to play a joke, she thought, ignoring the message. The next day, the number wrote again. "You looked tired today. Is everything okay?" Emma froze. She could not understand what was being talked about. "Is this someone I know?" she thought, but still didn't find an answer. "Who are you?" she wrote. But there was no response. The messages started coming every day. At first, they were harmless. "Have a nice evening," or "I hope you enjoyed where you were yesterday." But as time went on, they began to become more and more disturbing. "I saw you leaving the office. You looked thoughtful." "The red scarf suits you." Emma felt a chill run down her spine. She had put on that scarf just an hour ago when she left the house. Someone had been following her. "Who are you?" she finally wrote. The answer came instantly. "I was always there. You just didn't notice me." Emma tried to ignore the messages, but it was getting harder and harder. The number kept texting, and each new message was penetrating her life deeper. "You didn't have your coffee like you usually do today. Did something happen?" Emma froze. She had indeed missed her morning coffee for the first time in a long time. No one could know that unless... "Have you seen me? Where have you been?" she wrote, feeling panic tightening in her throat. The answer came instantly. "I'm always here." Emma began to look around, trying to find at least some signs of surveillance, but the street she was walking on was empty. There were no cameras, no passers-by, no cars, only silence. Later, when she returned home, she tried to forget about it, but her phone vibrated again. "You're too nervous. Relax. I just want to make sure you're okay." The next day, the messages became even more personal. "You're working too much. Maybe it's time to take a break? I can see how tired you are." She started locking the doors, checking the windows, and even removing the curtains, hoping to get rid of the feeling of being watched. But it didn't help. "You look beautiful when you read in the evening. That novel you picked up last night was a good choice." Emma dropped her phone in horror. The book she was reading was lying next to her. She had picked it up just a few hours ago. "Who are you?" she wrote again, her fingers shaking. The answer was short. "I am the one who knows you better than you know yourself." Now she felt like someone was watching her every move. She couldn't shake the feeling even in the quietest places. At work, at home, even in the store, she always felt like someone was looking at her. But every time she looked back, she saw only emptiness. Emma was on edge. She deleted the number, turned off the phone, but it didn't help. When she turned the device back on, the messages started coming with new intensity. They didn't stop, each one more personal, more disturbing. "You're losing control. You know who I am. Look around." Emma turned around, but the room was empty. Her heart was pounding so hard she thought she was going to pass out. At some point, she couldn't take it anymore and wrote, "What do you want?" The answer caught her off guard. "Save you." She was furious. fear replaced by anger. From what? What do you know? Her hands were shaking as she sent the message. The silence. The phone froze. But a few minutes later, a long message arrived, which made her blood run cold. I am you. I write from what you don't know yet. You must listen to me. There is something behind the door that will change everything. When it comes, don't open it. Stop yourself. But it's too late. Emma felt the world around her become unreal. She couldn't breathe. Her thoughts were confused. It's impossible, she whispered, remembering strange moments. How her phone sometimes lit up on its own. How messages came even without a signal. And then there was a knock on the door. 3 loud, clear knocks. Emma froze. Someone was standing outside her apartment. She came closer, feeling her legs go weak. The knock was repeated, more insistent. Don't open it, the message came. She looked at the door. Don't open it, this is the end. The phone vibrated again. But something inside her was pulling her toward the door. The knocking became louder, turning into thumps that shook the entire apartment. Emma grabbed the handle and... Do not open! The last message flashed on the phone screen, but it was too late. She threw the door open and was faced with absolute emptiness. The darkness, endless and silent, covered her. The last thing she saw was her own face on the screen of the phone she had dropped. A face full of horror, but no longer hers. The next day, no one was found in Emma's apartment. Only the phone, blinking with unread messages that came again and again.